Toy Spot, we are having a look at the Diamond Select Toys A Nightmare Before Christmas Oogie Boogie. It's cool that we would have got Oogie Boogie as part of the first wave release from the folks over at Diamond Select Toys. The other two figures were Jack Skellington and Sally. Also really digging the package too, which I mentioned in the review of Sally. I like the fact that it's that red coloring. It just really pops versus some of the other figures that might be on the pegs. And then we've got the spiral motif that carries over from the Nightmare Before Christmas. Basically, anytime you see a spiral, like decorative display like that design, you automatically assume it's, or affiliate it with Nightmare Before Christmas. This side of the package features an image of Oogie Boogie. And then on the back, the other figures are Jack Skellington as well as Sally. Believed by many to be the mythical boogeyman, the evil sack of bugs named Oogie Boogie lives on the outskirts of Halloween Town. Unlike the town's mostly kind-hearted citizens, Oogie is a fear-based creature torturing others for fun and spewing bugs from his mouth. Having befriended 3 local children, he's given another victim when they deliver Santa Claus to Oogie's lair instead of to Jack Skellington. When Oogie also captures Sally, Jack must enter his lair to save them both. To check out more from the folks over at Diamond Select Toys, you can go to www.diamondselecttoys.com. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Nightmare Before Christmas Oogie Boogie. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. When we get Oogie Boogie out of packaging, we are immediately greeted to a substantially large figure. Now, you would be looking at this figure and thinking to yourself, oh, well, most of this I'm sure is going to be hollow. No, let me tell you, this bottom base of Oogie Boogie is solid. It is a solid brick of a figure. It really debates the fact for a lot of companies out there, and I'm going to just throw one random out there. Let's say Mattel. Mattel is big into reusing molds, saving costs on mold casting, and keeping the cost down for figures they always try to release and repaints and stuff like that. The argument could be made that when you look at someone like Diamond Select Toys, they're producing figures that are very different from one another. They're not reusing molds or anything like that. And you really get what you pay for. I mean, granted, these figures are a little bit more on the expensive side versus the likes of, a Marvel Select figure or what have you. But it really asks the question that, especially for movie tie-in figures, they do try to find cost-saving measures to give us the cheapest figures possible. And then here you've got a company like Diamond Select that are just giving us good, solid figures. And Oogie Boogie looks awesome. The stitch work on his arms, as well as the stitch work, runs all the way down the side of his body, down to his little footed. I love that he kind of has these footed pajamas. I think that's kind of cool. His face also is good. I feel like the areas of his eyes could be just a little bit darker. They don't seem as recessed. But inside his mouth, you can see the working, or you see the little bugs and stuff like that inside his face, which is really, really cool. And speaking of, what you can do is just reach to the top here, and you gotta get your fingers behind, there we go. Pull this off, and inside, you've got Oogie Boogie's, what really Oogie Boogie is made out of, all these little insect bugs and worms and really gross things that most likely than not, I will be keeping the face on. Oogie Boogie does not come with any sort of display stand, but that's okay. The trade-off, though, is you're just getting a big, beefy figure, which is completely finished all the way around. There's no hollow areas to the figures. I don't want to keep drudging up things, but I mean, companies, especially like the Transformers, you have hollowed out pieces of plastic to try to save costs. This is just a brick of a figure. And it looks super, super cool. Just to kind of give you guys a scale comparison. And if you are wondering, he does stand, no issues whatsoever. Let's have a look at Sally, which we've already had a look at. You can see the big difference in figure. Now, Sally would have come with display stand, a little diorama stand. Would have come with the interchangeable lower torso. But though Oogie does not come with any of that, you can see how the trade-off, though, is you get a much bigger figure as a result. Just put her to the side. Love to see also, as of course, now they've got the licensing for it. I'd love to see Diamond Select give us variants of these figures. Maybe even give us like a greenish colored Oogie Boogie that, you know, sometimes he appears during the movie with that green lit. I think that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, just a great looking figure. Like the canvas kind of, it just looks like a burlap kind of material been sculpted with the plastic. The paint's really exceptional on this figure as well. And I can say figure because he's not just pre-posed. There is posability to Oogie Boogie. For example, his head is on a ball joint. It doesn't really move up and down too much, but you can rotate the head back and forth. His arms are also on hinge joints, so they do hinge out slightly around, but it's going to struggle a bit sometimes just based on the sculpt at the top of the sleeves there. And he's also got a ball joint in the waist. Not that you would move the waist too much, like that might look a little disjointed from itself, but at least you've got movement going on there as well. Very impressed. Spot never picked up a lot of the NECA Nightmare Before Christmas figures, so this is a great opportunity for me now to go and start picking up the Diamond Select ones as they're getting produced. But I'm very, very happy with how this figure turned out. Yeah, I also picked them up at my local comic book store, and as Spot always indicates, do support your local comic book store. Go to them versus trying to buy stuff online. I usually only buy stuff online if I can't find it in stores, but luckily if you find a good comic book store, they'll hook you up. Speaking of hooked up, I gotta say I'm glad I got hooked up with this Oogie Boogie. He does, again, look very cool, and you get a lot of bang for your buck when you get a figure like this. Today's Toy Spot, we were continuing our looks at A Nightmare Before Christmas figures from the folks over at Diamond Select Toys. We're looking today at Oogie Boogie. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.